Make sure we are live in the group. What's up, everybody? If you guys can hear me, if you're watching the replay, type live or replay in the comments below. Guys, I have Kayla Penny here with me. Kayla has been flipping phones and electronics, well, mostly phones actually, for quite a few years now. She was mentored directly by Aaron Goldstein and most recently by me. She is a part of my Rescale program, the highest tiered program that I have. And her best month with me so far, anyway, has been $9,000 profit net. And for all my Canadians out there, I know I got a lot in this group and on YouTube. Yes, you can absolutely do this. This works sometimes even better outside of the States. So, Kayla, let's go over things, right? So, where were you before, linking up with me and working with me to kind of, take things to the next level?
Yeah, so before I started working with you, I had been reselling for about a year and a half. And I had taken everything I learned from, my previous mentor, Aaron, is who I learned from originally, and was just kind of going through that method. So I was doing reach out, OOM method, and I was also not running any leads. There was no paid ads at that time. I was doing all free ads. So I would post my ads each day in marketplace groups, Facebook Marketplace. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, and a lot of reach outs. And it was great. I was doing well with numbers. I definitely had multiple, $10,000 net months sometimes as well, sometimes around 5 to 10. But
it was really inconsistent. Yeah.
It was inconsistent. It was, but I was also burning out 100% because I was picking up pretty much everything. Anyone who needed a pickup, I had a car. I was down to spend whatever type of gas they needed. And it was just kind of a fear of getting, asking them to come to me. So I was driving around all the time and my whole day was just spent picking up phones. And yeah, I was getting around, I'd say it was about 3 to 4, sometimes 5 customers per day. But the amount of gas I was spending was crazy. And at that point, I was just like, man, this is taking up my whole day. I had really no time. I left my corporate job to be my own boss, have a little more freedom, have more time. And it was like, what happened was the exact opposite. I just filled up all the hours I had less time. And even though I was making pretty good profit, my whole day was gone. So, I value time more over the profit and I didn't have that. So, yeah.
One of the biggest things, I know you came to me for this specifically because you knew I was doing scheduled meetups. And I remember that was the biggest thing for you. Also, you wanted to do ads. So we implemented all of that pretty quickly for you. You already had a Google My Business, so you already had things kind of rolling, right? A little bit, but there were just some certain key aspects that you didn't have, right? And once we started the ads, right, your Facebook ads, your Google ads, all of it, right? That's when things really changed for you because you had inbound now, right? Like a lot of and it was a lot of inbound as well. Yeah. I remember you messaging me, you were like, bro, I can't keep up. Like it's insane, right? But the next thing that really changed was when you were finally able to implement the scheduled meetup model.
Absolutely. Yeah. And by the way, it was insane how quick those customers started coming in from the paid ads. We set it up. I was like, okay, cool. Take a few weeks. I had learned before with Facebook ads or whatever, maybe it takes a month. It takes a while to set up. Ads were coming in like the next day or same day. It was crazy. And then I was picking up from those ads like 2 days after. So very cool. And Chris was like, tell people to come to you. Everyone comes to me. I don't pick up for anybody. And I'm like, what? No way. There's no way that everyone can come to me without having some excuse that they don't have a car, whatever. I would get all types of excuses. So I was like, okay, I'll try it out. It was 2 hurdles to get past. First of all, asking them to come to me, but then also narrowing everything down to 2 times because I was running around all day. So I thought there's no way that everybody will be able to pick just 2 times. I was doing 12 or 4, which I think is what you recommended. Yeah. So I tried it out, even though I was skeptical, and it worked. Immediately people said, yeah, I'll take 12 or I'll take 4. And I was like, cool, okay, let's try it. I got them to come to me. They would show up. Then I just started asking everybody that. Once it happened the first time, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to keep repeating this. I'm never picking up again. And now I pick up once a month, if that. I barely pick up, and if I'm picking up, they're super close to my location. So yeah. I'm not wasting anything in gas, but 99% of people, it turns out, they're happy to pick up.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, those are the two biggest things for you. And I still remember whenever you texted me, you were like, Chris, I had my first lineup. Can you explain what a lineup is to the people watching?
Yeah. So I would say it was about a week or 2 into asking people to come to me at 12 or 4. And so I got a lot of people one day that said, yeah, I can do 12. And so I was booking them in. I had about, I think it was 4 people who were good for 12. And I thought, okay, like I started to, once I had the 4th person saying, yeah, I can do 12, and I knew I had 3 other people scheduled for that same time, it initially was a little overwhelming because I wasn't like, it takes, even though I had been doing it for a year and a half, sometimes it takes time. Customers want to talk. You got to check out the phone. I was nervous that people would be a little bit pissed waiting for their turn to see me. But, these are the times I went with. I'm like, okay, let's try it out. I made sure everything was set up and ready to go so I could check as quickly as possible. I got there, and when I arrived at my meetup location, 3 people were already waiting. And shortly after that, the next one showed up. And everybody was pretty cool with, taking a few minutes to wait while I checked that customer's phone and went on to the next one. And then that was another hurdle. Like, I didn't even know I would have to get over, but now I'll have people waiting and they're cool. Like, I don't even fear that, they're going to get pissed off that I'm with another customer. They're like, yeah, cool. I'll take a minute and wait. So it was very cool. It was awesome to have a lineup for the first time. I had never had that. And it just shows you that just doing 2 times, it brings everyone together at once, and it saves you so much time. Suddenly I had way more time in my day.
Way more time, making more money in less time, right?
Yeah.
So, let's go over really quickly how big of a mindset shift that created for you when you had that first lineup, right? Like, in your brain, like, did it click? You were like, this is it. Like, this is how it should be, kind of thing.
Absolutely. It was like, okay, right away I knew I would never go back to picking up everywhere, but also scheduling so many times. And it made me realize that, wow, like, many people are willing to do one time or the other, and that I could just keep doing this and get everybody to come at one time or the other and have so much more free time. So it really, at that moment, I just realized this can create so much more time freedom. And that was the biggest eye opener for me. And so, it was just a matter of, before I didn't think that way. I didn't think that I could get so many at one time. And then suddenly I did. And once I figured that out and realized that, I never went back. So sometimes, things hold us back that are just, it's just such a simple thing, right? You just have to make one question, ask one thing, and it works. And then it's good.
The problems become bigger when we think more about them, right?
Yeah.
That's really how it happens. Like, the more we think, the bigger the problem, or the hurdle seems, right? But whenever we finally just do it, right, we find out that, oh, this wasn't so bad, right? Like, you think the customers are going to be antsy and kind of upset because they got to wait, but that actually does something completely opposite. And I want everybody to listen to this. When you have people lining up to meet you, that instead of like them, thinking they have to wait, it shows a level of professionalism that most resellers do not have, right? It also shows authority as well, because if multiple people are meeting up with you, it really shows you know what you're doing, right? And I mean, as you can see with the pictures in her background, guys, I mean, this is something we've actually started doing over the past couple of months. I do this quite often, as you can see with my background. I got a lot more I need to add them into this collage. But the reason we do these photos here is, first, number one, social proof. And two, it actually helps massively with getting more leads, right? So they're all over your Google My Business page, right? So, and you get about, I think it's about 100 calls a month at this point from your Google My Business. So you're definitely ranked number one in your area. By the way, Google My Business, guys, is probably by far one of the best places to get leads. Kayla, you can attest to this. Those people are ready to sell, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Over Facebook, like it's just, I get a good amount of leads from both, but those guys, when they call, they are ready to sell. Even if I miss a call and it comes in later, sometimes they've already sold because they're that quick. They're looking to sell right away. And so that was another hurdle, by the way, speaking of selfies with customers, right? I was terrified. I would never think to ask a customer to take a selfie with me before Chris recommended it. And even when he did recommend it, I was super nervous. I was so
I had to tell you quite a few times, but it's,
yeah.
It's not a big deal once you finally do it.
No,
right?
Same thing. It's just mindset. It's just these little things that once you do it, you're good.
Sometimes it's the smallest levers that swing the biggest doors, right? Like, and stuff like this just opens the floodgates for leads. Like, we could shut your ads off tomorrow and your business wouldn't go under, right? Like,
Exactly.
you would still get calls, you would still, get everything. You probably get somewhere around 20 leads a day, if not a little bit more than that, right? So, but she's absolutely crushing it, guys. And the reason I wanted to do this and share this is because Kayla was already an experienced reseller, but we made massive changes to how she approached it. They weren't even really that massive, to be honest with you. All we did was take her from running around all day to scheduled meetups. And then, we added in social proof, which is what these photos are. Add in the social proof. It just generates more leads for free, by the way. We implemented Facebook ads and Google ads, which run 24/7. And I think you spend about $40 a day between the both. So, but you get way more leads. You get a ton of leads every day. So,
oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and I'll be honest, Kayla is part of Rescale. She's part of my top tier program. Do you want to talk a little bit about Rescale in its entirety? By the way, to qualify for Rescale, you have to go through the accelerator program first before you even qualify to even join that. So do you want to talk a little bit about Rescale, what Rescale itself has done for you, the community? It's a very tight-knit community, but, talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Rescale, I knew Chris. I knew he ran ads and I knew I wanted help with my ads. And then he mentioned he had his group Rescale. And I had no idea what it was, but I joined with the group and I had no idea what it was going to do for me, not just for my business, but mentally. And that was the biggest thing. It will grow you mentally as well as grow your business. But it's a group of us and we just, aside from Chris, all of us contribute to each other in different ways. It's a small group. We're all doing the same thing, reselling, but we all have different ways of doing it. And we have different skills, right? And we bring those to the table all together. And if there's something that I need a question on or I need help with, we're all there immediately. Those guys are there to help me. I'm there to help them when we need it. Chris is there. But I've grown so much, not only from being in that group and having Chris there, but all my other group members as well. It's support, it's mental growth. You're learning things at such a faster rate because you have a group there to answer anything you need at any time. And that's one of the best things I love about the group is if I'm stuck with something, I have people there that are experienced as I am and more. And they can help me out in ways that I might not be able to myself at that moment. So it's a great resource. And basically that's it. It's a great resource. It definitely will grow you mentally because you'll also see, your fellow group members winning in different ways, which will motivate you to do the same thing, right? They might be, there's some of us in that group are selling tools, for example, power tools, right? Or diabetes test strips. You might just be selling phones or electronics, iPads. And then suddenly you try that out and you get a win with it. Some of them are doing game consoles, right? So I've been inspired as well to sell so many different items and learn from their
Yeah, that was one of your biggest hurdles, was getting out of just phones.
Yeah, I was, really doing phones, laptops, and tablets before I joined that group. And then suddenly I was looking into test strips and gaming. Like I was picking up for the first time Oculus Quests and PS5s, which I had never picked up before. And it's because that group gave me the confidence and, a little info to get into it. And once you feel confident to do it, it's your game. I think I picked up in that first week after our gaming session, like 4 Oculus Quests in one day.
Yeah.
It was insane.
With that, yeah.
Yeah, and sold them all off. And I had never picked up one before. So it's definitely a motivator too. It's a great group. And it definitely changed my business and just pushed me mentally to levels I didn't know I could go to.
One thing about Rescale too, guys, is it's built on accountability, right? So we keep track of, or I keep track of their KPI sheets, which KPI stands for key performance indicators. So profit and loss sheet, how many leads are coming in, all of that. So it's based on accountability, where I actually go in, typically once a week, and I look and see where they're at. And then, we kind of adjust course on what we need to. The fact that I can go in and look at your numbers at any time, I'm sure that's a big motivator for you.
Absolutely. Actually, I forgot to mention that, but accountability, like it's definitely an awesome group for accountability too, because you have someone that's checking in to see what you're actually doing and what your numbers are like. And, we have our meeting once a week for accountability and looking into those numbers. And it's just that little bit of positive pressure that it definitely pushes me to stay on top of things, because sometimes when we don't have that, we'll let it slide, right? And sometimes it slides. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah. It's a lot easier to move forward with other people than it is by yourself, right? And we're implementing some new things now in Rescale too. We're implementing the 3 stages of the winning process, right? Like who's profiting the most this month, who profited the most on what item, who profited the most from repeat customers, right? So we're implementing that this coming Monday. I think that'll be really cool, because you guys will be able to get awards for that. And it's going to also push you guys. I noticed this big time last month, and Kayla, you remember when Tyler and Hunter, they were like, you know what? Whoever, does the most profit this month wins $100 from the other person. Right. And they did that internally too. And Hunter just absolutely eviscerated Tyler. So it did 8,700 in profit. But that's the kind of stuff that program is meant for. So I wanted to give everybody a little insight on Rescale. Something to look forward to. Like I said, there are qualifications. You do have to go through the accelerator mentorship program first before you even qualify for that. It's a 6-month program, but once you're in the accelerator program and you're doing 2,000 plus profit per month, that's when you qualify to join Rescale, right? So because Rescale is all about bringing people together that will contribute equally, right? It's not, it's much different than the accelerator program, because in the fact that, number one, I'm going to challenge you big time, right? Like first challenge is you got to follow up with everybody you've ever purchased from, right? So, and that's number one, right? And then you got to go to pawn shops and repair shops and all these other things, right? Which you already do, right? So, but yeah, I wanted to give everybody a little clarity. And Kayla, you've done great, and I can't wait to see what else you do, inside of Rescale.
Yeah. Thank you so much for all your help. I mean, for anyone who's thinking about it, I can't thank Chris, and I'm pretty sure I've DM'd him a million times, just thanking him like once a month for all the help, because it really does grow you and push you. And it's a great investment, to be honest. So yeah.
Well, thank you, Kayla. Thank you for popping on. And if you guys enjoyed this, let me know in the comments, whether on YouTube or Facebook. And see you guys later. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys learned something, right? So see you guys later.